Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews. So today we are going to talk about the AtGames Atari Flashback consoles. By the way, if you're new here to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe. Also, if you really like the videos, you can click that little bell and they will notify you when I upload more. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that thumbs up. It's essentially a giant middle finger to the haters. And I tend to get a lot of them. But now, AtGames has been making Atari and Sega Flashback consoles. Now, a lot of you might not know this, but the Super NES Classic right here and the NES Classic have been widely popular items. When they were actually talking about why they didn't make as many and why they sold so hot, they stated they based their sales numbers on AtGames' product. That was really the only person in the market. And I know a lot of us want these, and a lot of us haven't gotten these that may still want them. But they will be bringing the NES Classic back, and they obviously haven't stopped making the SNES Classic as of right now. And they also stated there were going to be a lot more SNES Classics this time around. Now, a lot of you might have this sweet spot where you're like, man, I'd really like to play some of the classic Genesis games, take a little trip back down memory lane, and enjoy some of the good times with Sonic and the pals. Don't buy anything AtGames makes. Why, you might ask? So I did a Ohio Spotlight Series video where I toured a local game store called Warp Zone. I went in there, I asked about those because I was like, I just got an NES Classic. I was all excited and was like, I was really happy to get that. And they're like, oh yeah. So I asked him about the Sega Genesis Flashback console, and he pulls one out and he goes, you can honestly have it if you want it. And he hooked it up to the TV, and the audio on it's so bad. There's delays from the controllers. The buttons on the controllers are mushy and don't feel right. There are so many problems with it. Can you tell me how a new piece of hardware has frame rate issues with a Sega Genesis game? I mean, what the hell? Let alone, they have a new model coming out. There is a new model coming out that is finally adding an HDMI port. So AtGames now has one that's coming out with an HDMI port, and rather than using infrared controllers, because yes, that's what they've been using, and that's a big part of the reason why they have input lag, they're switching to 2.4 gigahertz controllers. Guess what? The input lag still sucks. And the worst part about this is it looks like the original Sega Genesis, the one that was literally considered like the audio god of the Genesis category. Well, it still sounds like shit. How are you going to make it look like that one? You should have made it look like a Genesis 3, because at least that one did sound like garbage, but none of the games actually sound accurate. Plus, the more shady aspect to it is they tell you, oh, well, there are like 80 Sega Genesis games. That's actually bullshit. Like 40 of those games are just some BS like calculator TI-83 games that they add on there. Touched up in 16-bit. But to make it worse, some of them are actually Sega Master System games because they don't know the difference at AtGames, so they needed some filler. Because they're AtGames, and quality isn't what they do. And on the new model, because they have a new model that's coming out, it's going to be $80 rather than where the Genesis logo would have been. They put the AtGames logo. That might not bother you unless you are a big Sega guy from back in the day, which I was. But please just don't turn to their product expecting for it to do the same thing that either of these two are going to do. The interface on it is a nightmare. You don't use the D-pad to navigate it. Just a heads up, the D-pad isn't what you use. And even if you buy the last gen one, so say you buy the one prior to this one from AtGames, it doesn't even support HDMI. The buttons feel terrible. Everything is junk. It can play the actual cartridges, but the sound still sucks because their audio card is garbage. Please don't buy AtGames products. That's it. That's all I got for you today. Guys, let me know what you think down in the discussion box down below. If you do actually get that desperate, buy a Raspberry Pi. This is my Pi. It's in a Super Nintendo case right here. It's got a fan in it too. Just buy a Raspberry Pi. You can toss your Genesis games on here and it will run it better than the AtGames products. And you can use Bluetooth controllers on this. But guys, let me know in the comments how you feel and what you think about all this. I'll see you soon. I'm going to have plenty more content coming for you.